Hey guys, it's our last morning here in this beautiful villa in Ubud, and so I thought, you know what, why not do a little get to know me video if you're new around here, and have breakfast with me too, because this breakfast is divine. Okay, so I'm an Aussie living in Bali. My husband and I are here for 6 months. So we're from Newcastle in New South Wales, and our dream has been to come and live in Bali for a very long time, so we're making it happen now in 2022. Second thing is I am a crazy dog mum. So I have a pug called Audrey. She's like the love of my life. She's 10 years old and she's just the cutest thing ever. We're missing her so much while we're here in Bali. But yeah, I do like doggy birthday parties. For her 10th birthday last year, we did a 10-course degustation. So I'm a crazy pug mum. The third thing would be it's a bit of a pattern here. I'm a crazy serial declutterer. Like, I love to declutter. It just makes me feel so good. So when I'm at home, I'm always like tidying and like clearing out drawers. I feel like it's a great way to shift energy. Something else. So my husband and I do this thing called chinos when we're at home, not really in Bali because, you know, wine isn't so great and there's no cheese, but it's this thing we call chinos. So we love to have like cheese and wine nights. That's just a really cool way to, I don't know, for us to relax. And what's one more thing? Okay, I'm gonna say don't judge me, but I don't really care because I'm a believer. I love Justin Bieber. I'm absolutely obsessed. So my business is called The Happy Co. I am a Reiki Master, a healer and teacher. I am a holistic counsellor, meditation guide, and an NLP Coach. So in essence, I like to say I blend the woo and the do because I really do work so much with women and some men on really elevating your energy and mastering your mindset so that you can live a happy, purposeful life. That is not what I've always done. I was a primary school teacher and an assistant principal for a very, very long time. I think 14 years. It was about the 12-year mark that I was really depleted, burnt out, uninspired, and I knew that something needed to change. So I didn't actually know exactly what that was. My husband and I took a trip in 2016. We took a year off, took leave, and traveled around Asia, and some really incredible things happened in that year that then, I guess, led me to where I am now. So I'm forever grateful for that trip and the way that the universe conspired the amazing things that happened that have brought me here, because now I can happily and joyfully say I'm doing something that really lights me up. So Reiki, I always say Reiki kind of found me. I wasn't looking for it specifically. So on that trip that I mentioned before in 2016, when my husband and I went backpacking, the first part of the trip, I was absolutely saying, I need to get out of teaching, I need to find something else, but I had no idea. And I think that most people would probably relate to that when you're doing something that you don't love anymore, but then you actually don't know what the next thing is. So a lot of the time I was at the beginning, the first probably 6 to 8 weeks, I was really forcing it. I had planned all of these different volunteer kind of projects that we would do. And every time we would get somewhere, so we got to Bali and it didn't kind of line up. Then we got to Thailand and once again, the projects that I thought we were going to be working on just didn't line up. And I remember Scott saying to me you're really trying to control this. You have to let this go. And it was so fascinating because the moment I was like, oh yeah, actually you're right. I just need to let this trip be what it's going to be. We then went to India, and I remember walking, we were in Dharamsala, so the town where the Dalai Lama lives. Once again, one of the things that I had planned to teach English just didn't work because they were like, oh, there's no English teaching classes for the next few weeks while the Dalai Lama is home. So we got to see him speak live. And then I remember walking down the street and there were all these little things on the wall, you know, to say yoga class and healing and this and that. And it popped out to me. It almost jumped out from the wall and it said Reiki, learn Reiki. 2-day course. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally need to do that. And I remember saying to Scott, I'm going to do this. And he's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know, but I know that there is a reason why this is calling me. And so, yeah, I sent an email. The lady wrote back to me that night. Josie was my first Reiki teacher. It was only meant to be 2 days, but I spent so much time with her while we were in India, enjoying just learning all about Reiki, and it just activated, it just opened something within me. And after that, I remember when I left, she said to me, you need to do this when you get home. This is the thing that you're being called to do. And so, yeah, when I got back to Australia, I started up the Happy Co. I started sharing Reiki. I started, studying meditation, and I started women's circles so that I could really just get, practiced at it. And before you know it, things all started to kind of line up. I was still teaching, but I was also working, doing, Reiki appointments. I had a space in a yoga studio, and I just got a real taste for it. I realized that this is the thing that I wanted to do. So I studied more. I resigned from teaching. I knew that I needed to, and it sounds kind of extreme, but I knew that I needed to really release that chapter to let in the next one. I was totally not ready to do that. So, sometimes my NLP coach always says, don't burn the boats, while you're still in the water. Well, I feel as though I burnt the boats. I was still in the water, but I made it happen. And ever since that moment, I just kind of went from strength to strength. I put myself out there. My client base grew. I shared more and more Reiki. And over the years now, it's just become this big magical thing that I couldn't have dreamt way back in 2016. But yeah, the amazing things that have happened in the past 6 years, the past 6 years have just been incredible. And I owe them all to that moment that I said yes to Reiki. The message I want to share with the world is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have your shit all together to live a happy and purposeful life. I think that there may be a misconception that I'm always happy, always bubbly, always smiley, which I'm absolutely those things. This is not fake. I'm not putting this on, but I definitely have my dark moments. I definitely have absolutely had a journey with anxiety and depression, and I really need to look after my mental health. And that's, I guess, what led me to Reiki and meditation and all of the things all the holistic practices that I teach. And so I guess my main message is that you are not alone. If you are struggling with your mental health and you think that you're the only one, please know that you are not. I think too often we can compare ourselves to other people's highlight reels. And it's when we're in a low state, we think that we need to be up here. And I think as long as you always just reconnect to yourself. I cannot stress that enough. Reconnect to yourself, what you need. And if you give yourself what you need, then that is giving yourself an opportunity to really connect with happiness. So that would be my main message. But also I want to caveat that with I think in this holistic world, especially I love champagne. I love Louis Vuitton handbags. I will watch Kardashians all day long. That's my jam. I think that sometimes we can have a perception of what it means to be spiritual, or what it means to be looking after yourself holistically. I feel as though as long as you are doing things that feed your soul, that make you happy, that bring you joy, then just do life your way. So that would probably be the other thing that I would love to infuse into my message. Do you, because it's your life. So make yourself happy. The YouTube channel has been calling me for a long time. So a couple of years I even started one and then didn't follow through. It just wasn't the right timing. But now that I'm here, I feel all of the things that I've learned over the last 6 years, all these holistic practices, there's so many powerful things that I have learned, that I have cultivated, and I want to share them. I want to share them far and wide, and I love to talk, in case you hadn't noticed that. So I figured the YouTube channel is just the perfect way to share that message and spread it far and wide. Thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot that you're watching the videos. Do in the comments let me know something that I can learn about you, and remember, you are worthy of living in your highest vibration.